we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme Podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme Podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
Happy New Year.
So, we got a controversial topic to talk about: the Nicki Minaj situation at the Turning Point USA event that happened in late December, and all of the controversy that kind of surrounds Nicki Minaj, who she is to the culture, and what she's saying now, and the turn that she's taken throughout all of this moment. And so we have a lot to ask of you. First of all, we noticed that a lot of people don't take the time to watch the entire video before they dive into the comment sections head first, like idiots. Take a part of what we say and not really like absorb the whole scope of the information. And that's neither here nor there. What we're going to ask you to do is to watch the whole thing and participate in the conversation in a meaningful way, in an honest way, without going crazy. Otherwise, we're just going to get rid of the comment. The other part is that we want to make sure that throughout this conversation, it is we're just sticking to the points that we're interested in making. We're not diving deep into expert analysis about these political issues in other countries and that type of thing. We're just speaking about what she said, and so let's kind of dive into that. Okay. She went and talked with Erika Kirk at the Turning Point USA event. Again, in late December 2025. Prior to that, she made a speech at the United Nations, mostly centered around terrorism in Nigeria. Specifically, in her opinion, was Christian terrorism or Christian persecution, as she would say, on this stage. And so I think before we really kind of get too deep into all of the contradictions that we're seeing in Nicki Minaj and the contradictions of the audience she is now placating to, we also need to kind of talk about political dog whistles. I'm not going to define it outright because I think people can go look it up. They don't need us to go find definitions for them, but she kind of does this thing where she's using a dog whistle sandwich, right? So a political dog whistle in layman's is something that is said in plain view, but it has an undertone, a dog whistle, of something that is hurtful, harmful, bigoted, or even just outright biased or wrong, incorrect information about something that it's a narrative that people want to frame. Yeah, things.
It's simply just three truths and a lie, and it's hard to distinguish which one is which. Is what dog whistling is.
Yeah, and so we kind of described it as a dog whistle sandwich. Yeah, which is where two truths and a lie has come from, because you'll have something that could be seen as factually true or is factually true, sandwiched in between the dog whistle in the middle, and then at the end of it is another truth or narrative that people can fall for. An example of that is welfare queens, right? We can say that there is fraud in the welfare system, and then in the middle we're gonna say that people are buying shrimp and steak with food stamps, and then at the bottom of it we're gonna say, and the government should be looking into fraud a little bit more deeply.
Yeah. There's so many different ways, I think, to do the dog whistle sandwich. And even if you think about it, a dog whistle in and of itself is just a thing you can't hear, like dogs hear it, but it's in the midst of all of these different things. And there was a lot of that she did. I think we should start with the contradictions that kind of happened in her interview with Erika Kirk. I'll call it that. But we'll start with, like you said earlier, the Nigerian targeting of Christians, which is misinformation. Just off the bare bones facts of, in the area that they are, like, Christians are not being targeted. They are being killed, which is the fact. And a higher clip of Muslims in that area, especially in the area that they're in, are also being attacked. Like, there are people that are being attacked because of the regimes of things that are going on in Nigeria, which is a contradiction to her making it seem as though there is only one group being set out and set upon in this place, which is misleading to all of you.
Right. So there is literal persecution. Mm-hmm. It's persecution of a lot of people, not for a specific religion that they're targeting. Yeah. And although there are individuals that are impacted in this way, and it should be called out that nobody should be persecuted for their religious points of view, it's being spun as this is the only issue. Yep. When there are more issues that exist, and that issue is important for us to focus on. Like, whatever that regime is, it needs to go away so that people can live their lives. And I think the contradiction for me is that does Maga also point out that religious terrorism exists on our own soil?
Mm-hmm. That happened all throughout last year and throughout the history of America, but
yeah, for multiple different reasons do we talk about, like, terrorist attacks on churches, on all types of houses of worship within the United States? Are we talking about how Muslims are persecuted within the United States, called jihadists, and people fearmonger, saying that we're going to turn into a nation of Sharia law? The narratives and all the things that came out about are said about Zora Mamdani, Somali immigrants currently. Like, there's so much being said against religious people just because they're a different religion than Christian.
Yeah, and it's not like they're making it out to be the religion against religion. It's almost like they're trying to make this whole, like, if you're not Christian, it's just, you're all Gentile, you're all nothing of belief. We're just attacking each other back and forth, which, again, like we said, is just not the entire picture.
Yeah, so like, on stage, she's like, well, nobody should have to experience this, which is a very true statement. Very like, true. Nobody should have to experience that. And people are experiencing that, and that should be called out as well. It should be called out whether you are Jewish, whether you are Muslim, whether you are Christian, whatever you practice, whatever you believe. You should not be persecuted in this United States. And for it to be focused in on one particular group is problematic at best, because it says that this is the only issue, is the way it's framed.
Then I think they did a little bit about, like, I don't know what her exact thoughts were on immigration. Did you have more information on that?
No, we can come back to that in a second. Let's start with her fan base, like, and alienating her fan base throughout this through this conversation. I think specifically with some anti-trans rhetoric. She said, hey boys, this is not verbatim, but hey boys, you're okay to be boys, basically. Yeah. is what she said without quoting. And that just goes to say that like it's number one, like taking something that is not that big of a problem in our in our society and just hyperbolizing it to the point to where people think that they're going to be subject to that. Like you don't, I don't know too many people that wake up in the morning and just be like, oh, I'm trans now. Like that's not an occurrence that we need to be worried about.
No. I also think about it as this is what propaganda is. So often people will use like Russia or China or all these different places when they talk about propaganda. But this is propaganda. This is piping up, 10 trans athletes and saying that they need to have their own leagues when all of those 10 trans athletes in collegiate sports were in different sports themselves. So there's not even enough of them to form a league in whatever sport that they're choosing. On top of the fact that there isn't like this broad sweeping change. Like you said, no one is waking up just like, you know what? I need to do this. There are benefits here that I can take advantage of. It doesn't make sense.
I hate being straight.
There are no benefits to doing that when you are on the chopping block of persecution. Like everything legislatively. So it is very weird to me that she has gone so against her fans when she went out on tour, and that was kind of the centerpiece of what she was doing on tour, like the Gag City tour, the people she was bringing out, the people that she has shown support for, whether it's on Twitter or otherwise, would be considered in this new age trans people. There are a lot of people who, like, behind the makeup lines and things that she would do, would like run out to support her, and none of this makes sense. Like, it's just contradictions upon contradictions.
Yeah, that's why I think it kind of goes back to like the overarching thing, what we're putting in the title, what we're using as the thumbnail. Like, she is being used by this audience in order to like continue to, like you said, continue to prop up propaganda against people that they hate. They hate folks that are Muslim. They hate immigrants. They hate people within the LGBTQ community. And if you don't assimilate to that hatefulness, then you are also the enemy. And then they frame it as like, oh, I can't say anything.
Right.
I can't speak my mind. No, you can speak your mind. Just know that you're going to have some feedback when you speak it. Yeah. Like, if you put hate out there, don't expect people to be like, oh, I love hate. Give me a hug now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you reap what you sow.
And she's very aware of that, even in her contradictory act, because at the end of the turning point conversation or whatever, she says, knowing, because you're saying a lot of things that are crazy and off kilter, it's okay to change your mind. Meaning, that you have changed it. There's like your stances are not solidified in anything, but you're doing it for people and tokenizing yourself in the way of a Candace Owens or...
What does she mean by it's okay to change your mind?
Well, when she got to the end, I think she's saying, because it is very obvious and apparent that she is making a shift and trying to use that shift based on a religious thing, right? I was blind, but now I see. I was led by the industry. I was done on, like, you're making it seem like you didn't make those choices, like you didn't prop up your own fan base, like you didn't grow your fan base, like you didn't send the barbs here, there, everywhere to antagonize or attack people that disagreed with you and so on and so forth. Like, you are setting yourself up for the scapegoat of being able to just say, well, I've changed my mind on a lot of things that I once supported, which again is fine when you're not trying to use it as propaganda as why it's okay for you to have such a stern shift in your actual core values.
Yeah, I think also to the point that I was making before, like it is like okay for you to have your points of view. It's okay for you to have your thoughts or your opinions or your it's okay for you to be in a place where your perspective is what it is.
Yeah.
It is not okay to expect people to just accept everything that you say and not push back.
Right.
Like you want freedom of speech without freedom of consequences.
Yeah.
And freedom of speech doesn't protect you against consequences from the private person. Freedom of speech protects you against consequences from the government. In some cases, if you're not Jimmy Kimmel or Stephen Colbert, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If you're not a 60 Minutes piece on, if you're not a 60 Minutes piece on CCOT, then like you can have freedom of speech. And I'm sorry, like spreading misinformation is freedom of speech, but spreading misinformation on a private company's website can be tampered. Tampered with. It can be blocked.
Yeah.
It can be fact checked. You don't have the freedom to be, you have the freedom to be wrong, but you don't have the freedom to stop anybody from fact checking you is what I'm getting at. Ultimately, like the contradiction of hating immigrants when Nicki Minaj is an immigrant herself, when she was very vocal with Tommy Lahren years ago, saying that like this anti-immigrant hate is not appropriate. This hate against individuals is not okay, and then come full circle to change her mind into accepting a group of people that like viscerally hate immigrants. Think that they're losing out on something because of immigrants, not realizing that like immigrants pay billions of dollars in taxes.
Right. And all trying to use the guise of their right.
Wait, hold up. She even said that.
Yeah.
She even said, I pay a lot of taxes as an immigrant. And cannot recognize that like immigrants have more net benefit to our country than not.
And it's also just weird to me, again, the way that they use religion in their conversation, right? They do that dog whistle sandwich where they're sitting there and they'll use some scripture, they'll use some form of, like you said, people should be able to do this. None of that removes the fact that you're a bad person, that you're doing bad things to people based on something that not even the book you're trying to quote says to do to those people. You don't care about the widow. You don't care about the orphan. You don't care about the person that comes back from war. You're doing all these different things.
The least of us.
Like you don't care.
Yeah.
Like those people are included, whether they are agreeing with you or not, because it is not your right to try and force them. It is your option to give them the choice that you were given, while you just want to take everybody's choices. And it's apparent, it's like this move is so frustrating because I just don't understand it. I only understand it if this is her move. Like, I can't do hip hop no more. I don't think I got it. I don't think the fans got anything going on. I need a shift. I need a change. I need protection, money. I need, more controversy or something to sustain me outside of hip hop, which I don't think will sustain me anymore, which is like ludicrously like stupid to me.
Let's talk about why she's doing it after we finish with
Okay.
The contradiction of Charlie Kirk and his narratives. So Charlie Kirk has been on record saying harmful things about immigrants, about black people, about black women specifically, about feminism. And these are all things that like Nicki Minaj has stood up for throughout her career, especially in hip hop, knowing that like women in hip hop are underrated, like seen, manipulated, mistreated, and all of these things that are not of our culture but happen within our culture. And so, like, how can she now like sit and look these folks in the face and say, okay, what you're doing or what you have done is okay? I think that is the question that sits on my mind is like, do you not know who you're talking to and what they believe and what they think and what they accept as truth?
Yeah, like they probably don't even think you got into hip hop legitimately. And they don't even have an understanding of the workings of it. They probably just think of you as a person who there was affirmative action into the industry. You're a DEI rapper. Like, they don't even think you're a good role model. Verbatim from his words. Like, he doesn't think you or your contemporaries are good role models for anybody. And on top of the fact that just the general disrespect of black women, which you would consider yourself, which you said in the interview, they don't care about you. They think you are moronic. They think that if they see you somewhere that you are less intelligent than them. Like, it's this landing spot. Like, Kanye is like, it works. Kanye been crazy. He does what he does. It fits within his hysteria, right? This don't even fit within your crazy. To me, at least.
I don't know. I think the anger, the maliciousness, the vitriol, the way that she gets emotionally entangled in certain things have some signs of like, oh, something's going on here.
Okay.
I just think we just haven't seen a lot of those signs. I don't think we've seen enough of them, right? Whereas Kanye will play out loud. He will do that in front of us. I'm not here to put her in the therapy.
Yeah.
I'm here to say that like there's a lot of concern and there's a lot of worry about like who she's become. And I don't know that we know her as well as we think we do. And know what the impacts of being in this business has done to her.
Yeah. In closing, I guess in that way, I think that it's very sad. It's not something that I'm like, again, I'm not trying to attack her or tear her down on any level, because I think for someone who has one of the top 5 verses of all time, just point blank, period.
The monster verse for folks that don't know.
It's sad to see this. It's sad to see people that change the culture, that inspired a lot of different artists, a lot of different people, from Doechii and other people who are inspired by the things that she did, to now be in a place where it's hard to even take you seriously, because I don't think you're even standing on the things you're pretending to stand on.
Yeah. So the way I think about it is like, she is in a situation where I have some theories on why all of this is happening.
Oh, I gotta hear this. Please tell me.
My first theory, my first speculation is she is struggling as a musician, and you've talked about this as well. And so she's needing a way to continue to bump up those metrics, keep her name alive in the canon. Kanye does it all the time.
Yep. She does have an album coming.
To throw that thread. She says she's not doing it anymore. But how can she release an album when she's on Rock Nation, and Rock Nation she's beefing with them? So that's a whole tertiary conversation. But like, she is in a situation where like, I watched her Google Trends and how often she comes up. The last spike was like during her tour, where the Gag City tour was like a big deal. And the only subsequent spike that was just as impactful was talking about this situation. Prior to that, those spikes were less common, a little bit more spaced out. You know what I mean? And so, and she would only be in the news when it's surrounded around her husband, Kenneth Petty, or her brother, and the controversy there. Like, it's not usually surrounded about music unless it's beef.
Yeah. Or her, you remember that Grammy, it was a Grammy or something performance where I think it was very kind of anti-Christian or whatever at the time, or at least that was the conversation around it. There was just all of these different things that are kind of like, I don't think she clearly knows her identity given these actions. Yeah.
The other theory is that she's trying to protect herself as an immigrant because,
I can see that.
And she's using things she truly does care about, right? Like, hey, let's make sure that people in Nigeria are taken care of, specifically Christians in her view, but also like, let me buddy up with Trump so like ICE doesn't come and take me out of here. And then I think the other theory is that she truly does believe all of these things. She has pivoted. She is this person now, and it's a new way to like evolve into the next chapter of whatever Nicki Minaj is going to be.
Okay. I do hope that.
I think she's just being used, and she wants to be used as well.
I think we cooked. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we cooked, bro. But what do y'all think? Are you inspired by this, or do you even care? Let us know down in the comments.
We'll know about the views.
And we'll see you in the next piece, a 1 and a 2, and peace.